I'm 91 years old, and I'm going to be straight with you, because at my age, I don't have time to be polite. At 50, I thought I'd figured life out. Good job. House, family. I thought the hard part was over. I was wrong. 3 mistakes I made between 50 and 60. Decisions that seemed completely normal at the time followed me into my 70s, into my 80s. They're still with me right now. I don't know how much time I have left, so I'm not going to waste yours. What I'm about to tell you took me 40 years to understand. You might understand it in the next 10 minutes if you actually listen. My name is Raymond. I'm 91. I'm not going to tell you my whole life story. You don't need it. What you need to know is this. I've watched people I loved make the same 3 mistakes, and I made every single one of them myself, right around age 50, when life looked completely normal from the outside. That's what made them so dangerous. If you're between 45 and 65, what I'm about to share may be the most important thing you hear this year. Already past that, you'll recognize every single one of these. At 50, I felt fine. Not great. Fine. My back ached some mornings. I got winded faster than I used to. My doctor mentioned my blood pressure twice. I nodded, changed nothing, moved on. I skipped my annual physical 3 years in a row because I was too busy and felt okay anyway. Here's what I didn't understand at 50. The body doesn't send emergency alerts. It whispers. And then one day, without warning, it stops whispering and sends the ambulance instead. At 67, I had a heart event, 9 days in the hospital, 5 prescription bottles on my nightstand when I came home. The cardiologist looked at my file and said, "Mr. Raymond, this was a long time in the making." That sentence has never left me. It didn't start at 67, it started at 50 when I ate whatever was convenient, when I sat for hours and called it hard work, when I waved off pain as just getting older. I'm 91 now. 7 medications every morning. I walk with a cane. My world is smaller than it needed to be. Some of that is age, but some of it, a real honest portion, is the bill for what I ignored at 50. Your body is not keeping score against you. It's just keeping score, and at some point it shows you the total. This one is harder to admit because I wasn't careless with money. I was reasonable. That's the problem. At 51, I pulled from my retirement account for a business venture, told myself I had 15 years to rebuild it. I was wrong. At 55, I gave more than I should have to help my son with a house, because that's what fathers do. And I never once told Dorothy how tight things had gotten afterward. I carried that quiet financial anxiety for years, alone, in silence. Here's what nobody told me at 50. Compound growth doesn't care about your reasons. It doesn't care that you meant well. Interrupt it once, even for something good. And you don't just lose the money. You lose everything that money was quietly becoming while you weren't watching. I found that out at 75, standing in my kitchen, staring at a heating bill, wondering if we could afford it. That moment cost me nothing in dollars, but it cost me something I can't name. The third regret, the relationship one, is the one I almost didn't include, because it's personal, but it may be the most important of all. Dorothy and I were married for 58 years. She passed away 4 years ago. I loved that woman completely, and I believe she knew it, but somewhere in my 50s, when the kids were grown and work was demanding and we were both exhausted, I let our marriage run on autopilot, not because I was unhappy, because I assumed it was fine. We stopped talking about things that mattered, not out of anger, out of busyness. It was easier to discuss the roof repair and the grocery list than to sit down and ask each other, what do you need right now? What are you afraid of? What do you wish we still did together? I can tell you exactly when it started. I was 53. I got promoted. My attention shifted. I told myself it was temporary. It lasted 11 years. We had what most people would call a good marriage. And we did. But I know, and I will carry this, there was a version of our marriage in our 60s and 70s that could have been closer, more honest, richer. If I had just paid better attention at 50, we found our way back. But it took years that didn't need to be wasted. If your marriage is fine right now, hear me. Fine is not enough, not at 50, because fine slowly becomes distant. And distant left alone long enough becomes lonely. And loneliness at 80 is one of the most painful things I know. I'm 91, I can't go back to 50, but I want you to understand something, and I mean this. You are not me sitting here with regrets. You're someone who still has time to do something about this. Your body is still listening. Your money still has time to grow. And that person you love, your spouse, your partner, your closest friend, they are still here. Still here. Do you understand how much that matters? Because I do. I understand it in a way I hope you never have to. So here's what I'm asking. Not tomorrow, tonight. Book the appointment, open the account, and put your phone down and ask the person beside you something real, something you haven't asked in too long. The version of you at 91 will know whether you did. I'm Raymond, and I'll see you in the next one.